Good morning and welcome back to my garden. We're going to do this project today. So I'm going to start by taking off the fabric and bringing it inside to sew. We are supposed to be getting rain on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And today is Wednesday. So I really want to get the broccoli and the onions planted out before the rain. So today we're doing this bed. And then maybe later today or tomorrow, we'll get the onions and those snapdragons that I still have on the porch. We'll plant those out in the cinder block bed. But for now, I'm just going to take this down and bring it inside to sew. I just pulled off this cover and there's a couple of volunteer tomatoes in here. Actually, that one almost looks like a potato. Or, yeah, you see that? That's a potato from that little tiny potato that got left behind in the soil. I had topped this bed up with some compost and some soil that was from old potato bags. And that potato started growing. That's crazy. I could have left that there, but that's all right. And this one's a tomato that I might just leave there. This hasn't had tomatoes in it for over a year, so that must be either from the compost or from one of the tomatoes that was in here. The tomatoes I had growing in here were yellow pear. So I might stick a tomato cage around that and just keep an eye on it and see what happens, because we like volunteers. That's pretty cool. But we're going to get this plant ripped out because she is nasty. And I just got to undo the rest of those clips, and then I'll probably harvest a few of the peppers while I have it away. Because I was looking at recipes again last night because I was in bed trying to go to sleep and I couldn't fall asleep until I looked up this recipe. I want to try to make some sweet and spicy pepper relish because I had some on a sandwich a while ago and it was delicious. So I'll bring you along for that, but we're not going to actually do that today. We might just harvest some and it'll be a whole video later. But yeah, got to get this taken down. And if you ever build a garden, give yourself more than a foot between beds because walking here is a pain. It's possible, but it's a pain. I don't think there's any clips down there. I think I could just slide that up. I had it wedged between the pole and the ladder mesh stuff. So, oh, there's a clip down there at the bottom of this one. Last clip. Throw that over that way. I'll pick it up and put them all together. I'm going to get to work pulling out the watermelon, which I've been looking forward to. So, we'll start with that. All right, so I went in and pulled out almost all of the straw. I'm not going to pick every little piece out because that would be crazy. Now I'm going to get the granule of fertilizer and just sprinkle a little bit all over the top and mix it in. And then I will bring the plants over. I've got my tomato and vegetable fertilizer. It's a 4:6:3 NPK ratio. Brassicas in general need a little more nitrogen, but this bed has fresh compost all over the top of it, so it should be fine. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a boost with some fertilizer that will break down over time. The bottom of my bag is wet and I just took my glove off, so that's gross. But I'm not measuring, I'm just going to take a big handful and sprinkle it all over. Alright, now I'm going to mix it all in real good because it breaks down when it has contact with the moist soil, so if it's just sitting on top, it's not doing anything. Alright, the next thing to do is go turn on the hose and water that in just a little bit. And I will also grab my plants while I'm over there. We'll get those broccolis in the ground. Here is our tray of broccoli. My label has faded, so I'll have to go look up what the varieties are, but these 8 are one and these 8 are another. So, yeah, I can't even begin to try to read that. One of them looks like it has a W on it, maybe? Waltham something? I don't know. I'll put the seed packets up on the screen so you can see them. But I'm going to try to get these out. As many of these as I can in here. If you'll see right here, I put in a tomato cage where there was a little volunteer tomato. Figured I would pull out my square foot tool just so I can mark and maybe get them about a foot apart each, which might be a little bit crowded, but I'm okay with crowded. I just want them all in. Looks like I'm going to be able to get 10 broccolis in this bed. So that's good. I'm enjoying working over here behind the melon plant, even though the melon plant is not my best friend right now. Because this shade is really nice. It's going to be a warm one today. It's supposed to get down into the 60s next week, so this is our last warm week for a little bit. But I grabbed my spade and I grabbed my dibber because they're small plugs. I might be able to just make a small hole, which is a little bit easier than digging. So I'm going to try one, and if it doesn't work, I'll do the other. Alright, I tried to move you down where you could see what I'm doing. And my tripod popped apart a couple times, so that was fun. But we're going to start with the variety on this side, which I think is Waltham something. Alright, we're going to try with the dibber first and get... Yeah, that hole should be good enough. I like these trays. I got them at Home Depot. You just push on the bottom and the whole plug comes out because they're silicone at the bottom. This one has 2 plants. I'm not trying to save 2 plants. Take out the smaller one. Okay, yeah, the dibber did work well. And I'm probably going to regret not having another glove, but I do like being able to feel what I'm doing, so. And dibber a couple more holes and we'll pop out a couple more broccolis. My kids would be correcting me right now. Mom, a couple is 2 and you did 3. So I made 3 holes. I'm going to grab some snips to cut off the extra broccolis in some of these cells so I don't have to disturb root systems. We'll drop that in there. Those ones can feed their buddy. Those will break down and be fertilizer for the little guy. I can hear the birds tweeting around me. Hey guys, she's planting food. Come over here and eat it. No birdies. Can't have my food. Man, I did not thin these early on. That one's got 4. We're going to keep this one. Not the tallest one again, but most central and the most healthy looking, I guess. Stick those broken ones in there. Try to get out here early enough in the day that the flies wouldn't be all over me, but that doesn't matter in Arizona because it's hot either way. This one is dead. I'll just crumble the soil to feed the plants a little. I just watered, so these are like super wet. Alright, I'm going to pull out the plants. One for there. One for over here. Gotta turn you guys around. That one needs to be thinned. But I just want them out of the cell tray so I can plant. Look at that tall one. That's nice. I'm going to put that one in the back because it's not going to compete for sunshine. I'll take this one out. Put this one in. That is lovely. Burying it a little bit deeper so it can have some support. Oh, dang. You know what I forgot to do before doing this, which you should always do before doing this? I forgot to put the drip lines back in. So it just makes it a little more annoying to do it later. But that's okay. Four in that one, so I'll snip off 3. Sometimes when I have to snip off plants, it hurts to do that, and sometimes I don't really care. And this time I don't really care. They'll go back in and feed the bed. So, it's okay. I can get you turned around so we can do the ones behind you. No, birds, you cannot have these plants. He's literally running across my wall right now, chirping. No, you can't have it. It's not yours. Sheesh. What's funny is these plants have been outside for weeks, but the birds don't seem to care about them until I put them in the dirt. And yes, sometimes they're just coming over here to dig up the bugs that I've uncovered, but they're also eating the leaves of the brassicas because they're delicious. I don't blame them, but they're mine and they can't have them. I don't want to share. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 of the one that I'm going to say is the Waltham. I'm not completely sure, but I think it is. And I'm not sure at all what the other one is. So again, I'll have to look that up. But those ones will be the 3 along the edge over here, sharing space with the tomato. Over there. 1, 2, that one. Over there. When you're handling seedlings, these aren't quite seedlings, they're a little bit bigger, but when you're handling baby plants, you do need to be a little bit gentle, but not as gentle as you would think. They can handle this. They're hardy. All right. The last one from the other side. Hand's getting all muddy. That's okay. Now I have to put this drip back in. This is old drip. It's not what I prefer to use, but I had planned on putting new drip in this bed. But then I built that bed, so that bed needs the new drip that I had made. So this one gets to stay with what it had before. Now you see why I was going to replace it. It's broken on both ends, and I don't know. I'm going to have to go get a couple of attachers and a plug. So, uno momento, por favor. Okay, I got these pieces, which are, they attach straight across. And then I got two of these. They have a funny name. I don't remember what it is, though. They're little plugs for the end. So, we'll get to that. This one is attached to the main line, the drip line. So I'm going to cut that one in the middle. A little less than the middle, but that's all right. I'm going to take this one that broke and also cut it in the middle. And then I will get one of the connectors. Could have got an elbow connector actually for where this is going to be, but that's okay. I'll stick that end in there and wobble it around a little. I'll stick that end in there. And just push them together. It takes a little bit of force. It's easier when it's hot outside because the plastic's a little melty. Or not quite melty, but stretchier than this. Alright, so there's that. And it's broken off at this end, so I'm going to have to plug it. But I need to see how long this goes first, so I can see if I need to actually attach it to something else instead. I had a whole bunch of these J pins for putting this drip in, and I used them for something else. So now I only have one in this bed. I'm gonna have to go grab it. I'm gonna have to go scavenge some more from another bed. Now. Okay, I'm going to cut this end and put a stopper in it. There's some more lines over there where the peppers are, so I can pull those out and straighten them up a little bit. So I'll just snip off the tip of that. Throw it in the trash. And then I'll stick this little stopper, the skinny side, not the fat side, right into there. And that will stop the flow of water so that this bed gets watered evenly. Well, no, the J-pins were better in the dirt, not in the straw mulch. There's some drip line bunched up over here with the peppers, so I'll get in there and fight with that. While I am down here, I'm going to harvest a few of these peppers. Alright, drip line, it's on here. Wow, why is the pepper still alive? How much water did we get? I'll move these turn off, that's why. Make sure these all turn on. So I'm going to put some water when I turn on drip. So, ouch. Alright. Okay, we're good. Have I mentioned that Putting in drip irrigation on established plants is an unnecessary pain in the butt. Do this before you plant, people. Okay, now we are going to spread the mulch. And, you know, I tried to make that pepper plant stand up. I don't think I like how it looks. I might just take out the stake and let it flop that way, since it's going to have a net on this side anyway. Alright, that's good. Good enough for who it's for. Now I'm going to do something I don't usually do, and I'm going to put my tools back in the mailbox where they belong. I'll hang up my gloves to dry. This one's not wet, but that one is. See, look. Tools are put away. Good job, me. High five. Okay, this is now going to go inside. It's actually 3 pieces because when I cut it, I measured wrong, so. All right, we're back out here, and the good news is the birds did not get into the garden bed, so I have the mesh all sewn together. We'll get that put up now. Well, I got it all done. I need to water in the new babies. I can do that through the mesh, but I will do that now. And then this job is finished. I did end up with some mesh extra over here that I cut off. I'm just going to lay these over the top of the garlics to prevent that and that. And yesterday I came out and the one in the middle was actually dug up and just laying on top of the soil. So I don't know why they're choosing to dig and not actually take anything, but I don't want them to dig. So I'm going to cover up my plants. They've also been digging in this bed, which drives me crazy, even though there's nothing there. I don't want the bugs. I just don't want the rats messing with my beds. All right, there we have it. This bed is all finished up and planted out and ready to go. We got to find a place for these last few broccolis, which shouldn't be a problem. I might just pop them under the mesh over on that bed for now to keep them safe, but yeah, thanks for coming, watching me do my fun project, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.